Hello, today we remove for you the application of decorative plaster in the simplest and most economical way. We have already shown a similar application, but the shooting was on the street and it turned out to be very overexposed. Not everything was clear and not everything was visible. Now we will repeat this in a darker color and everything will be visible and understandable to you. Begin. We use such a tape. This tape is delicate. It is written here for delicate surfaces. STM Decor. In a nutshell. Tape on ultra-thin Japanese washi paper and acrylic glue in combination for delicate surfaces. That is, it does not tear off the paint. There are 3 types of these tapes. We have all 3 on sale. You can order. If, for example, you apply decorative plaster through some lines, or you need to glue the corners so that the paint does not peel off, this tape can be ordered from us, including together with decorative plaster and trowels of the same production company. Very often they ask, what kind of trowels do you have? We have different trowels. There are for 750 rubles. I will not advertise it. These are the most economical trowels and its edges are not sharpened. Next in value is such a trowel, also STM Decor. And the edges are sharpened and suitable for many applications, for many do-it-yourself applications, so as not to show off and not buy for 15,000, then such a trowel is suitable. Of course, we will glue the place where the label will be with the tape, as usual. On a plastered wall, you apply quartz primer with a roller. Quartz primer is a primer with quartz sand. We have it tinted in gray. Cover the wall surface, give color and roughness. We cover the corners with a brush, the rest of the surface with a roller. Quartz primer is generally recommended to be used for all textured plasters, but in this case, it is recommended there. But here it is mandatory. When applying this sample, it is mandatory because we want to get in economical option, in this case an economical option for materials, so that the result is both beautiful and inexpensive. Why is the video filmed? There are a lot of requests. People want to make decorative plaster so that it is not difficult and inexpensive. For this we show this method, and as a result, if you like the application, then you can order decorative plasters from us. We fully advise you online, help you choose color. We have organized delivery, at least 3 transport companies with which we have already worked. They deliver quickly, clearly, nothing is broken. The cargo is insured. We primed and leave to dry. Until completely dry, we will leave for about 4 hours, and you look at the humidity in the room. After the quartz primer has dried, we will apply travertine decorative plaster with the help of such a sponge. There was a question in the comments the other day, do we use some kind of small sponges? Dish sponges? No, we use decorative sponges of the usual standard size, but we have small ones because we cut them into pieces. We don't need a large sponge for such a small tablet. The same STM Decor sponge. Here, we use this sponge. We just cut it into several parts and it is convenient for us. Look at what the whole trick is. We take a sponge. Here we have decorative tinted plaster and we just like this, we lower the sponge into the plaster. And now we performed such actions on the wall, just a blunder. And leave these blunders like this, it's completely ready. Closing parenthesis, closing parenthesis, closing parenthesis. I'm joking. We apply randomly. Somewhere there will be a lot of mistakes, somewhere a little, let it be so. But try to make it random. Now you will understand why we are all doing this here. We put a plot on the wall about a couple of square meters, these blunders. And we will smooth them, which we most often do. It is not necessary to fill the entire surface. Somewhere there will be a lot, somewhere there will be little, and somewhere there will be nothing at all. Our videos are for ordinary people, as well as beginners, those who want to connect their lives with decorative plaster. We have the simplest applications, we do. And shoot anything supernatural, everything is as simple as possible, only what people can do with their own hands. Now all this will need to be left and wait for it to dry. We will wait now. But you will not wait, you'll apply about 2 square meters. So far, in this sponge, you are tamping one area, then you are tamping the second area, then the first one has already dried up. The plaster has already dried up, we will squeeze it a little with a clean trowel. We keep a damp cloth next to us. You can also keep a bucket of water to constantly wipe the tool. We smooth with a clean trowel with chaotic movements. You see, it has dried up slightly with us, but it has not dried completely yet, and we smooth it with a trowel. Why is this sample inexpensive? What do you think? What options are there? Because the consumption of plaster is small. We use quartz primer as a base and use decorative plaster in a small volume. That is, we do not impose 5 kilograms per 1 meter. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but we don't impose a kilogram, 1.5, 2 kilograms. Here we have a consumption of about 500 to 700 grams per square meter, a small consumption. And this makes the cost of material per square meter cheap. If you want to add textures, then you can do it right now. For example, if you want to add, it seems empty to you, then we add right now. All this is done quite easily. What else can we offer from ourselves? When you purchase decorative plasters from us, we accompany you to the bitter end. You have started work and you consult with us in the process. You can do this, or you can do this. We fully accompany, and we shoot an individual video lesson about the process. Who buys from us? I have not yet heard negative reviews. God forbid they will appear, of course. We try very hard to work on the quality of services. Namely on quality, not quantity, and it is very important for us that the client is satisfied, so that the application succeeds. We smooth it in this way. You can still leave it for a short time. You see it's still damp, we'll leave it a little more and return to it again. Let's go back to it for another 10 minutes. We applied quartz primer and created a texture. Now we need to smooth the decorative plaster. You can see how defective it is, yet that is, in some places, somewhere, something is not very good. And in order to really need to go back again, until the plaster is also completely dry, and smooth the surface with a trowel. The application is not difficult, but you need to work hard. No one promised that it would be super easy. You still need to work hard, although everything seems to be elementary. They applied quartz primer, then they made mistakes with a sponge. After 10 to 20 minutes, they smoothed it with a trowel. More 10 to 20 minutes passes, again smoothed to create an even more even surface to give these islets here. How is it done on a large wall? It's done in the same way. We apply a section on the wall or a blunder, we return, smooth, then we continue, blunder, we return, smooth, then we continue in the same spirit. So everything is in the process, a person begins to understand how to do it in order to get the desired effect. You need to wait exactly the time when the plaster has not yet completely dried. Now we will additionally cover the sample for lovers of shiny surfaces. For lovers of matte, we will consider this option finished. But of course it is still damp, it will dry and slightly change color, it will become a little lighter, and for lovers of shine, we will still cover the top with something shiny. Perhaps silver, since it is gray with us. This is a ready-made version for us, and for lovers of matte coatings, you can also coat it with a matte varnish, for example. Cover it with a wax base, a transparent protective composition, ordinary decorative plaster. You can call it a grotto or you can call it a map of the world, whatever you want to call it. Now we will make another coating on the tops. For lovers of mother of pearl shine, we added a diamond. Mix azure to the wax, which shimmers with different particles, blue, purple, gold and silver. That is, such a shimmering azure is beautiful, and we use a sponge, and you can also do it with a velour roller with a small pile, but we will apply it with a sponge. We dipped the sponge into the azure, removed the excess so that there was very little azure on the sponge, and almost without touching, we only try to apply on the tops, almost without touching. We need to apply as little as possible so that it does not get into the depth. Let it be gray, only on top. Of course, it is difficult to do this, since we have a very small texture, shallow, but try not to get into the recesses of the texture. It will be more beautiful. Or you can just roll it with a roller, if possible. Look, observe the process, not to say that it is straight easy. It requires a certain amount of patience. I will not name the cost. If anyone is interested in the price, please write in the comments, or follow the links and ask questions about the cost, calculation, delivery. Why don't I name the cost? Because years, months go by, in general, time goes by. Prices changed, but the video remains online, and sometime in a couple of years the cost will be irrelevant. So we do not name the price in our videos. The name of the materials is also not always called, because materials can be selected for different budgets. Let us say, for this sample, we can choose different options for you, depending on your walls, on your capabilities, on your areas. Well, that is, everything is very individual, and it is better for you to ask questions before drawing any conclusions. We have plaster, both expensive and cheap. Different for different consumers. Of course it has differences. We immediately discuss these differences. This is cheaper for some reason, but this is more expensive for that reason. And it's worth taking because of that. Everything is justified. On the volume, this is done much easier than on the sample. There the tool is used more and the sponge there is more. And you can use not only the sponge but also some other tools in order to cover. Here is the finished version. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Bye everyone.